Good evening. This is Dipankar Khasnabish. I welcome you to yet another episode of COVID Cares initiative from Heartcrafted Foundation. This is a foundation which work with women who are from underprivileged sections of the society. We work to improve their overall livelihood and look at outcomes in terms of increased income over a period of time. This particular series, which is a bunch of interviews which we are doing, and one more of that, and incidentally, that is the 12th episode of this series, is an attempt to capture some of the stories of ordinary individuals doing extraordinary things during the COVID times. We all know that with COVID, and especially during the lockdown, people suffered significantly. Now, privileged people like you and me probably suffered more of panic and supplies and where will be the whether the maid will come or driver will come, but there's a large section of the society actually got stuck with no money, no income, at times no food, no health care. And this situation, while it was nationwide, and we have seen scenes like the migrants moving across the country and stuff like that, this was very acute in the cities. We many of us personally, it was a revelation to me that there is a large segment of poor, the urban poor, who are very close to our homes, but you don't see them. They are in the bylanes and they are behind the big buildings and behind the malls, and they got stuck. They most of them are migrants, and they are cut off from their own ecosystem, and they overnight lost jobs or cut in salary, and they don't have enough money to fend for themselves. So within probably weeks, they were really at the end of a very tough situation, right? They were not really getting the food. Now a good thing is that and this is the series all about, that there are hundreds or thousands of Indians, ordinary Indians, who understood these challenges and started helping people in whichever way they can. The government, of course, took some time to gear up, but during the winning period of 4 5 weeks, when government was not really in a position to reach out to everybody, the common people did extraordinary things to help common individuals. So we'll hear one of those stories today, which will be talking to two individuals, how they supported a large segment of urban poor who got stuck in a place called HSR Layout in Bangalore, in and around that place. So before I get into that, I'll briefly introduce them. Uh, we will be talking to Anil Misquith. Anil is a corporate veteran. He transitioned into development sector and did a master's in development from Azim Premji University in 2019, with a special interest in the sustainable livelihoods and public health. Anil spends half his time in Gudalur, Nilgiris district, with Accord, an NGO that works with the Adivasi communities. In Bangalore, during the lockdown, he began volunteering for COVID relief in South Bangalore, of the area which I mentioned, HSR Layout and around that space. We'll also be talking to Lalithamba V. Vishwanathaya. Lalithamba is a corporate employee inclined towards social and civic activities. She likes to work with people and environment related activities, and has been supporting a few children with education. She has been contributing to social causes for over a decade. She co-founded Harisu Mitra, a citizens forum which believes in sustainable living. She has been championing the cause of waste segregation and local bus transport. She has also worked on other initiatives like tree plantation drives, black spot removal, water conservation, etc. So today we have two speakers who have many things common. Both, you see that I'm from corporate background, but they have been also very strongly involved with the civic society. So I assume that, unlike most of us, they were quite aware of the situation, how it will unfold when COVID lockdown started. But nevertheless, the challenge was huge, right? And I guess even today we are struggling as a country. So, my question to you, first question to both of you, is that when it happened on, I think it is the 25th of March, right? Did you immediately understand the challenges involved and started gearing up, or it was also, you took a couple of days to really understand how it is, and then what did you plan?
Right,
I mean,
Dipankar.
either of you can answer.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. Lovely introduction for both. Thank you so much. I would like to start. So initially, this Corona times, I think we all had a fear, and I was also very scared to step out and do my bit because there were children. We have senior citizens at home. The scare of catching the Corona, etc., was there. But on 5th April, we got to hear that there were many families near Gurumurti Temple, which is about a kilometer from my side in HSR, who were in immediate need of support. So I visited this place with the Corona warrior support warrior from HSR. So most of them had lost their jobs and needed immediate support. I got to know about this cooked food distribution that was organized by the Labor Department, facilitated by the trade union and BBMP. So I got in touch with Mr. Lingaraj, who is from one of the trade union called CITU, who confirmed that this cooked food can be delivered every day, evening to this locality. But we needed to pick up from a location about 3 kilometers from my place. The challenge is that I don't drive. And so I was looking for support of someone who can help in picking up this and delivering the food packets to the community every single day, right? This is when I approached Anil if he could offer the support. I think without even thinking twice, he happily agreed and accepted to offer the support. And this is our journey, how it started. I would request Anil to share more thoughts.
Thanks, Lalita. So, Dipankar, first of all, thank you for hosting us. For me, the journey began slightly differently. Like you mentioned, I was associated with Accord and in the Nilgiris district. So for us, the lockdown started much before the rest of the country. And we already kicked off our crisis management team. So there were lots of planning going on to support the tribal communities over there. And but I was doing it remotely. And then one day when I got this call from another volunteer saying there are 5 people in HSR layout who've been living on biscuits. Is there something that you can do for them? Taking that cue, I reached out to a few people and managed to give them a ration kit. So that was the first one. And subsequently, this was an NGO called Kagas Foundation. They said, can you help deliver a meal? So we delivered lunch for a couple of days, and Lalita got to know about that. Lalita then gave me a call saying, can you help deliver dinner also? And that started our journey.
If you just look back and, for people like you who are, connected with the, I will say underprivileged, it may be shocking, but not surprising. And, working with tribals, I'm sure you get to see acute poverty, but, just sometimes when I do this series, I really, um, try to put myself, I will not say I'll put myself, and just think that if I had a situation where you have to support the family only with couple of packets of biscuit, and that too maybe you don't know what state of mind you will be. So now that you got this, then how did you mobilize? Because I know that this was a significant effort, ultimately many meals, significant amount of money. I read your reports also. So what did you do? Did you raise fund? Did you make common kitchen? What was the model? What was the fundraising, leadership? If you can tell something about that.
Sure. So our community, Dipankar, is supporting about 300 families. The youngest is a month old now. The oldest is about a couple of them are 8 years. And these are in 5 different locations within HSR layout. Right? So this is the community that we are supporting. Initially, we started with delivering cooked meals, and then during the process, we started getting to know them. They invited us home, and there was this one incident where we were convincing these five young men who had migrated to Bangalore recently, and they now didn't have jobs. Right? And it was just few months, so they said, "हम लोग वापस जा रहे हैं." So we were convincing them, "Why don't you guys stay back?" That night, we got a call from Sham, who's our local contact in the community, saying, "Sir, they were embarrassed to tell you, but they have absolutely nothing in their kitchen." So then Lalita and me started talking, and we said we need to move beyond just delivering these cooked meals to see, can we give them groceries also? That was one incident. We had a number of other incidents also where people said, what you're doing is great, but we are not used to standing in queues for meals. It is really embarrassing for them also. But the situation was such that they had to stand. But we would treat them nicely, etc. In spite of that, we said we need to go beyond just this meal delivery. And that's how we put our heads together. We reached out to a few NGOs. There were a few NGOs who gave us ration kits. That was first step. And then the second step was we said the NGOs shifted their focus because they said we are moving from relief into something else. And that's where we said, now we need to think differently. So Lalita and me started reaching out to our friends, right? And that's how we started generating funds. Lalita, would you like to add some more points? You're on mute, Lalita. You're on mute.
Yeah, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, we shifted our focus from relief to beyond relief. We also had few women who were carrying there and they needed support with medicine, scanning, which we did. There were few who needed help in getting cooked gas cylinders, cooking cylinders. That as well we helped. There was a house which did not have electricity for probably 2 months and mosquitoes, at that time. It was really disheartening to go and see. Me and Anil went to their house along with Shyam and few people, spoke to their owner, and then we helped them out. So in small ways, we started. It was slow, but we wanted to be steady. That's how we started. And as he said, we moved beyond relief, which was to groceries. And with all the support, we had some funds which we managed, and it was enough to support families till end of June. That's how it was. And while during groceries distribution, we also, it was not just a distribution, give the food packet, right? We wanted to understand more about people in the community. So each family, when they came, we asked them, how many people were there, what type of job, if it was a parent, husband and wife they were doing, or if it were their elder children, what they were doing, and what are the various entitlements that they had. It could be Aadhaar card, it could be voter ID card, health card, which is Ayushman Bharat card, or labor card, whatever it is. But I had not heard of these word called entitlements until I understood about this as an important one from Anil, because I think he comes from the social sector background and with that experience. I would request Anil to share more details about, I think, entitlements and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I think what helped in this teaming up was the contacts that Lalita also had. We went and, because of our BPAC days, etc., we went and knocked on the doors of the labor department, visited them, understood the formalities. We spoke to other NGOs like Gubachi, etc., and then found out that if we could get them labor cards, then address proof, health card, etc., we can help them, probably not in this crisis, but the crisis will always come, right? So can we help them become a little more self-sufficient than what they are caught in currently, right? And people also realize that they have to open up bank accounts, because if you have to have a labor card, you need a bank account. And unfortunately, many of them live in, they're migratory people who live in blue tarpal sheds. Now the bank, so that's where we actually went to multiple banks, all the public sector banks, who said we need address proof. How do we give address proof, local address proof, if someone is living in a blue shed, right? So
your voice coming, madam.
Yeah, Mr. Jairam, can you go on mute, please? Yeah,
So,
Anil, go ahead, please. Yeah.
yeah, so we now can, that's where I came across another NGO called Hak Darshak, which is a Mumbai-based NGO which works on entitlements. So I spoke to the co-founder over there. She told me, why don't you talk to the Department of Posts? So Post Office has this India Postal Bank. We went there and they said they're fine with, they have this concept called digital accounts. So all you need is the Aadhaar card and your phone, which is linked to the Aadhaar card. And that's how we started our first bank account. So we are also learning in the process. We are reaching out to a number of people to build this portfolio of different entitlements because we don't want them to be caught in a similar situation later.
Right, right.
Yeah. I would like to take further on how did we support on a labor card. Now that say in these they had the bank accounts, few who did not have. I think this comes under the outcome probably that was there. During COVID, we all know that labor department, because immediately all the construction work stopped and these construction workers are the daily wages, right? So it was very hardly hit to them. So the government announced kind of a scheme to support them and then transferred some amount. That is when we understood that importance of the labor card, because many of the residents where we were working in the community, few of them were construction related workers. So we said, and they did not have the labor cards. So it was, again, because of the CITO I told about Mr. Lingraj, he helped us update on the information, how to get the labor card, etc. He was kind enough to come to the community, explain it to the residents. See, getting the card is okay, but explain it to the residents about the benefits and importance of this, and how do you get those benefits, utilize them, and etc. Our journey started there with the help of community spokes. We reached out to the people and facilitated in applying the cards. While 5th August was special to us, which we will open up later, but 6th September is also very special, again, important milestone for us. We will be handing over the first set of labor cards that we have received for the people who we had applied tomorrow. We all are equally excited to hand it over and see the happiness of the people.
Oh, that's good. Good. Congratulations. Do a live cast. We like to see that. This is a. So I was just saying, around 300 families mean around 1,200 people, and you have supported with food around 100 days, maybe that 2 lakh. That's obviously more than around 15, maybe 15-20 lakhs. So did you have to raise funds? Where did you raise it from? From individuals or some institutional supporters also there?
So yeah, on the numbers, we've distributed 5,000 meals and about 700 ration kits as of date.
Okay.
Right from April. Again, before getting into the finance part, even there was learning. While initially we thought of a set of combination, what we constantly did was speak to the community people, saying, do you like this or not? Right? Should we make a change? So then we added things like ragi, flour, soya. If the people are from South, we added ragi. They said, the people from North said we need masoor dal, we added that. So we kept in constant touch with them to fine tune the ration kit. Now people are telling us we need more rice, or we need more oil. So this slot, for example, so every time we increase our budget, we started saying that for 10 people, it is 11,000 rupees, which means about 1,100 per kit for a larger family. And for a smaller family, we said about 550 per family or 5,500 for 10 kids. And so we created this pitch, support 10 families, support medium size, large. Many of our friends supported us. Friends from different apartments. And again, thanks to Lalita and her network of connections in the apartments, we were able to reach out to many apartments in HSR layout. So we didn't get any institutional fund. It was purely individual donors who have contributed to this.
Great. I like this, like all of us, I'm also hoping that, there are this COVID in a way is obviously something is teaching us a lot of lessons and may not be the right way to learn lessons. But there are a lot of takeaways which can be positive for the society going forward in terms of many things. But one of the things which you are doing, and obviously I will connect with you, as I mentioned, that which is make it a more sustainable model of managing disasters in future, right? It's not just because people, they will face, because I think that poor people, many of them, their daily life is disaster for us, right? I mean, they are in such situation because we can't even imagine, because when some of the stories which we hear that there is nothing to eat, or um, the kitchen is empty. I think we can't even
Right.
imagine, visualize, right? What is empty kitchen all about.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
And seeing that dry potatoes and ginger on the kitchen table really touched me, right?
right.
It was like,
So I will will obviously share these along with the the extensive documentation which you have done. But I like to hear from a story or two which really touched you, in a way, in terms of people's, maybe their honor, or their humanity, or do you recollect between the two of you stories which really
Yeah,
touched you?
Dipankar.
oh,
I
yes,
mentioned
yes.
earlier,
Yeah.
as I mentioned earlier, I think while 6th September, tomorrow is very important for us. 5th August was as well, 1 month ago, it was a very special day for us. We received a SOS call that day. It was a young lady, we renamed her Tanya, who was in her second trimester of pregnancy during April, whom we met, interacted, and we had helped in scanning and etc. Uh, uh, was due for delivery in second week of August. On 5th around 2 p.m. I was working at home basically that time. 2 p.m. I got a call. She said, Didi, aap bahut din ho gaye. I was not, we had not visited them probably for a week or so. I said, aap log nahi aa rahe ho, kab aa rahe ho, yaad aa raha tha. So I said, Saturday we will visit you. Her voice was pretty good and she seemed fine with it. But I think around 4:30 she had started getting labor pain, and fortunately she had her neighbor called Shakila, who was very kind enough to do all the basics, because she was expecting her parents to come over that night, that evening, from by train, right? So they had not yet reached. She has a small child, all this, husband had gone for work, etc. In this case, the neighbor Shakila, she helped, she took in charge, calmed her down with probably the massage that was required, fed her, etc. So she did this. By 6 p.m., we received this SOS call, right? I called, as I said, I didn't drive, and I asked Anil, can we just reach out immediately? So myself and Anil, we visited their house, inquired about her husband and neighbor, where do they want to take for delivery? Basically, wherever they were earlier visiting, I think it was converted to a COVID hospital, which was nearby. Then we collectively with the community, we decided that we'll take them to Singasandra Maternity Hospital. We reached the hospital around 7 p.m. The nurse said in next 2 hours, the delivery would be done and she'll be fine. But around 7:30, again, there was a power outage in the hospital. So we had to really quickly think about an alternate, and we decided Jainagar General Hospital would be apt. And in the ambulance, she was taken up to the hospital. And thanks, we reached within 30 minutes because of the less traffic during these COVID times. Think about Silk Board otherwise, right? And then we reaching, and then within next 10 minutes, she delivered a baby boy, right? This is where it was, and the would-be mother delivered. And Shakila, as I said, we call her Shakku. She has a very big heart, and I think we cannot thank her enough for her the selfless work. This truly shows that the community spirit at work. She stayed overnight with Tanya with the baby and the husband out there, and they all came together the next day. Being normal delivery, I think that for one overnight, and they came back in the evening. And she used to call me and Anil for any help that was required and any assistance and everything. So this shows the spirit, the community spirit at work, with people stepping to help each other, even in spite of difficulties and the risks, right? People are scared of COVID and all, but she did not, this one. So an unplanned situation for us, this was a very new experience for us compared to helping the people with the COVID relief. We were glad that there were a few hiccups, but everything went well, all ends. And we visited them the next day, and now today the baby turned 1 month, and they are very happy. Yeah, and I think Anil, can you add more to this?
Yeah, there was this one more incident where again we built a network of local people on ground, right, who can give us insights into what are the next level challenges. So Sham told us about this particular family who don't have power. So as we dug deeper, we found out that they haven't paid electricity bill for over a couple of months, and hence the connection is disconnected, right? The power is disconnected. We went and spoke to the landlord. We asked him what happened. So the landlord said, not just electricity bill, they haven't paid rent, they haven't paid water. I can waive off some of the charges, but I can't waive out everything, she said. And these are 4 people, two teenager children and 2 adults, right? So then immediately we paid 900 rupees. Next day they got power. So we were able to make a small difference, bringing in light to their house where over a month they've been, right? So that was one. One other quick one was telling about this family which had these 4 young men who had nothing in their kitchen. Finally, they did want to go home, and we helped them with talking to the police, etc., figuring out when they can go. So as they got permission, at each stage, they sent us pictures, videos. When they were at the Anipalya police station, when they went towards Pina, and in the train, at each stage, even once they reached Bihar, they called us saying we have reached safely. So we were able to make a small difference, and that remains as something that we will never forget.
Absolutely. These stories, as I hear, I think it is also, in a way, for many of us, we would not have known these people, frankly, and we would not have touched them in any way because we are very transactional today.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that the goodness which we have seen with so many people, right, is also something very reassuring, right? I mean, frankly speaking, just before COVID, if you look at, the whole world is getting into some sort of strife, right? We are so worried that where it will lead to and all of that. And
Right.
these incidents, in a way, it is a silver lining of a very dark cloud. I will not say bright cloud. But, very good. We wanted to keep it short and sweet, so we are very close to the end of the time. Thank you so much for taking time and coming, and of course the good work. I hope it continues. We'll connect and we'll try to see whether we can also partner in some way in our area and take some of your learnings. And also thanks to the, we have around 12, 13 people who have joined. So thanks to the audience also for taking time out on a sad evening to hear you out. Thank you.
Thank you, Dipankar. We just have one message for as you broadcast this, right? I think all of us can do this together. We'd like more and more communities to see how can they reach out to the neighbors in their vicinity, and we'll be happy to help guide them with whatever learnings we have. But one thing that we spoke of a while back was, if we were to think of what is the key outcome, I think we are now happy that at least they say that we know whom we can go to if we have a problem. They have someone that they can reach out to.
Absolutely. They have a face to fall back whom they can trust.
Yeah.
Lalita, you are saying something?
Yeah, otherwise, while we have started, it may not seem too big, but we want to go slow, steady, and continue this work as a teamwork. And we also are, along with, we too started with 2. There are 2 more who have joined our team, Shilpa and Ramya, who have offered their help in whatever ways that they can. So if this group grows, right, and we'll be able to reach out to larger people, but we want to progress small, steady, and then continue this work. it somehow gives a sense of satisfaction when we do something for others.
Absolutely. Good work begets good work. And there are so many good people. You have to just connect them, know them, connect them, and share a vision. So you are doing a great job. Wish you all the very best. Let's connect. Let's try to do something together. And thank you again. Good night. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.